Hello, everyone, and welcome to another little edition of The Wild Man. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about bipolar disorder, living with bipolar disorder, and as you can see, I'm talking right from my nice, big, comfy bed. A friend of mine said that she was having trouble finding people talking about bipolar disorder on YouTube, but they're there. I did find some, and I subscribe to them, so if you're able to look through the stuff that the people that I subscribe to, you will find some there. They do have some interesting stories to tell, so perhaps you can compare notes with some of them. I'm pretty sure just about everybody knows that bipolar is a series of ups and downs, incredible manias where a person winds up feeling on top of the world or just really hyperactive, reckless, maybe even aggressive, and lows that are the pits of your worst nightmares, depression, suicidal tendencies. Bipolar people deal with a lot of issues on stigma, more so than autistics do. There's a lot of people who say it's just a fad. They have no idea. It's very real. I'm here to tell you it's real. And it is like having just an emotional war being waged inside of your head. I don't know how well everybody can imagine that, but it's pretty serious, and it's not something that takes a day off. It's right there, always. When there's a mania, you could go anywhere from feeling giddy and silly to just being, feeling aggressive. Maybe even having delusions of grandeur, or thinking you're, Superman or some godlike thing that can't be touched, and it can affect your view of reality. Another major thing that I'd like to point out with bipolar, and I've seen it affect several of my online friends, I want you to know you're not alone. But there's this, especially in the depressive stage of bipolar, there's this right here. You can't see it, and you who don't have bipolar can't hear it, but it's right there. It's right there, okay, in the ear, and it talks to me, and it says the most deplorable things about me. And for you out there who have bipolar, it's doing it to you too. And it's lying. You mustn't give in to that voice that says you're worthless, that no one loves you, that says the world would be a better place without you. It's lying. It's wrong. And it's there, and it's emotional, and it can be so intense, and it can feel so real, but it's not. And that is how the disorder will warp reality and how it will lie to you. And it'll get so ingrained, and it's right there, in your head. Just, it'll tear you apart. Living with bipolar is not easy, and anybody who has the idea that it's a cop-out or something, well, I tell you what, try it for a while, pal. Okay? Try it for a while. See what it feels like, because it doesn't feel good. And I know the reason, one of the major reasons for the stigma is that it's a disorder that's intangible. You can't see it, like a missing limb, for example, or a disfiguration of the body. It is a disfiguration of the mind. And so it's harder for some people to be able to latch on to that and understand it until they've dealt with it themselves. It's an experience unto its own. And as I've said in my introduction, I'm on meds for it. I'm going to be on meds for the rest of my life. And the most important thing about bipolar disorder to know is that you've got to manage it. You've got to stay on top of it. You cannot let it control you. Because it can kill you. Plain and simple. It can take your life. And if you're not careful, it could, and has in the past, taken the lives of others, depending on how intensely it affected that person. And it's very sad, and I have seen these losses of life firsthand. It's not a pretty thing to see. So that's the reality of bipolar disorder. It's not something basic or simple. It's something very real. It's something very heavy. And there are a lot of us who walk around with it like a 10-ton weight around our necks. And at times it's like being in a speeding car while wearing a straitjacket. You can't control that car. It's going to go wherever it feels like, and you're along for the ride. You get to see everybody that car runs over, though. And you get to remember and hate yourself for it later on. That's the reality of bipolar. So I hope that's given some folks out there some food for thought. I'm always trying to make people think. And I'm glad you stopped by. So, with that, I'm going to turn my fan up so that I can help keep my mind quiet. The noise of the fan helps me. I'll explain that another time. And I'm going to turn in. Time for some Z's. Good night.